Good evening, Fever and Caitlin Clark fans. So, not a good night on the basketball court. It would have been nice to have this one because we were at Gainbridge tonight, but the Fever fell to the Lynx 95-90. Now, it looked a whole lot worse earlier in the fourth quarter. So the Fever made a run at it, I will say that. But, I want to talk about this game first because already this afternoon I noticed on YouTube that the usual suspects were already gearing up to lay this one on Stephanie White. Stephanie White better have her team ready. The season's on the line. The playoff hopes could be sunk, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'd like to remind these people that the Indiana Fever are at 19-17 now, and they are without their star player. They are without their floor general. They are without Caitlin Clark, and have been without Caitlin Clark for the better part of this year. They are now also without Sophie Cunningham. They are also without Sydney Colson, who was Caitlin Clark's point guard backup. And they are without Ari McDonald. They are effectively down 4 key players and are playing with 2 7-day signers, okay? 2 guards who have been signed to 7-day hardship contracts. And everybody is doing what they can do to stay afloat here. This, to me, is distressing to see these people just using their platforms to go after people and to discredit people who are doing their best to stay alive in a playoff hunt against all odds. All right. Instead of being encouraging and somewhat understanding of the difficult situation any coach would be in, whether you like Stephanie White or not. Okay. This is not the issue at this point, and this is not the issue I'm talking about. There is little that she can do as a coach facing these odds. Okay. It's not like she's playing with all her key players healthy and is messing up here. Okay. She is doing what she can, and she is, like it or not, holding her team together. So the reason it would have been good to take this one tonight would it be because, of course, they have to play the Lynx again on Sunday. And this time, instead of being at Gainbridge, they will be in the Lynx's home turf. That's going to be tough. Okay. The Lynx are, 29-7 this year. They are even, the number 1 seed over the New York Liberty right now. And they have a formidable away record as well. So this is going to be tough on Sunday. Okay. Do I think the Fever could win that game? Anything can happen. It's possible that the Lynx could have a letdown. Anything can happen, okay? But let's look at some numbers from tonight's game, so we can see how the points were spread out. Kelsey Mitchell played, it got 27 points, no rebounds, and 6 assists. Lexi Hull, 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Aaliyah Boston, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Natasha Howard, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Odyssey Sims, 4 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists. And then we get to the bench players. Shea Petty, 10 points, no rebounds, 4 assists. Damiris Dantas, 3 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Brianna Turner, no points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. And Michaela Timpson, zeros across the board. But let's see, did she even play? I don't even know why they have her listed here. Yeah, she played 3 minutes. Okay, so let's not judge Timpson. Okay, she played 3 minutes. So this was a tough loss, but the Fever has to put this behind them now and focus on trying to win Sunday's game. They have to put this one in the hopper, put it aside. You know, as we say, never too high and never too low, okay? You don't get too high when you win. You don't get too low when you lose. They have to keep their mind focused on what they have to do to get into the playoffs and hope that Caitlin Clark can get back on the floor. So that's where we are with tonight's game. As I said, when I watched some of it, when I looked at some points, they were down by double digits. They managed to fight their way back. And so do I think they can win Sunday? You know, I'm not a betting person anyway, but I wouldn't put my money on that because I don't have much money to lose. But anything can happen. This is, you know, as I said, the Indiana Fever has to look at every single game now from now to the end of the season like a playoff game. So as I say, anything can happen in the playoffs. Anybody can win in the playoffs. It's like a different season. So maybe if they use that mindset, they can pull off an upset on Sunday. So there are, however, a couple of things that make my head hurt, okay? And the things that made my head hurt tonight when I get home from work, after not just being in work that made my head hurt, but was some comments that were on our comment thread. So there's a couple things I have to do here. This first one, I would rather really not even talk about. But I will tell you that the person who made this comment, when I checked his YouTube profile, he has absolutely no content. So as far as I'm concerned, that makes you troll material. Okay? But I've got to address this so that everybody understands what's going on here. So let me apologize in advance for having to do this, but I am going to do it nevertheless. This was the comment, word for word. If I was Cece's dad, I would tell her to stay injured until after the CBA and the federal investigation. First of all, put the CBA aside, okay? Put it aside. That totally makes no sense. But this one even makes less sense. There is no federal investigation, all right? There is no federal investigation into Caitlin Clark's civil rights being violated. It's a ridiculous, ridiculous premise to begin with. And this whole conversation is being fostered and fed by several talking heads, males, by the way, who are experts suddenly in civil rights. And it would be Stephen A. Smith, who, you know, is thinking of running for president, by the way, just what we need, okay? And he's a real opportunist, first of all. What he cares about is Stephen A. Smith, okay? And Black and White Sports, another clown I have absolutely no respect for. He's got an agenda. He's got an agenda, right? Don't make me talk politics, but he's got an agenda and he uses it. The stuff coming out of his mouth is very clear. Okay, very clear. There is no federal investigation because this is not where the government belongs. First of all, let me tell you something. Caitlin Clark does not believe that her civil rights are being violated. okay? She is showing absolutely no interest in this. This is being pushed and fed by talking heads. The notion that Donald Trump's Department of Justice should be investigating something relative to the WNBA is absurd. They need to stay in their lane and take care of the business of government. Caitlin Clark is indeed being targeted by other players, but she's being targeted by other players because she happens to be, no matter how anybody wants to look at this, a generational player who is very difficult to contain. She's difficult to guard, and she is difficult to stop because her value goes beyond scoring points. She makes her whole team better. So she is the focal point of heavy guarding and heavy physicality. And that is the only reason they are doing what they're doing it. They are not doing it to her because of her sexual orientation or her skin color or any other reason. And I know for a fact that these people are using this to disenfranchise the people playing in the WNBA, women and people of minority status. This is a bunch of people using Caitlin Clark as a pawn to advance an agenda. And that is, in my mind, shameful because they pretend that they care about Caitlin Clark when they do not. There are plenty of talking heads who are out there to discredit women's sports. They say things about the people who play in the league that they would never say about men in the NBA. They're insulting to the teams that play in the WNBA. They would never be insulting to the teams in the NBA. And it is clear what this is all about. That's number one. I could go into very specifics about this if you'd like me to, but I try to refrain from that on this channel because in my other life, I talk about this plenty. Okay? I talk about this game that's going on here with the so-called federal investigation, which actually doesn't have any legs right now. It is not an ongoing thing. It is not a pending ongoing thing. This is yet more bullshit. They would like it to be an ongoing thing, which is why they continue to push it, push it, push it, push it, and push it. Okay? Every day you look at their sites and it's the WNBA is in big trouble because of the federal investigation. There is no federal investigation going on right now. None. Okay? None. Let's make that very clear. Secondly, the statement, if I was Cece's dad. Caitlin Clark is 23 years old. She is no longer restrained from exercising her rights as an adult based on what her father wants. First of all, her father does not get involved in her professional life. He may voice his opinion about the referees, which is fine because I think the referee situation is dismal, and I think that's something that needs to be taken care of. And you all know that. You all know I drafted the petition, okay? I believe the referee problem is something that the WNBA needs to address, not the federal government. They do not belong in a private enterprise like the WNBA, period, okay? I can promise you these guys would not be calling on the federal government if they were talking about the NBA. That much I do know. Caitlin Clark's father does not direct her adult life. He does not direct her professional life. In fact, her family is pretty much not on social media weighing in on anything having to do with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark wants one thing only. She wants to recover from her injuries to make it onto the court to play this season. Not next season, this season. If it's at all possible, she will be out there. But her father does not tell her what to do. She is a fiercely independent human being. She knows what she wants. She is articulate. She is intelligent. And she is not afraid to get back on the court by any stretch of the imagination. Okay? She's a competitor, and there is nothing that is more disappointing and discouraging to her than not being able to be on the court with her teammates, helping them win games. Now, I don't know Caitlin Clark personally, but I know what I'm looking at, okay? I know what I've been following since college. She has not changed one iota, all right? So that's the end of this one. Then we had another commenter. And this guy's commented before about how Sophie Cunningham has said out loud that they don't need Caitlin Clark. It's clear that she wants to be the star of the team. Sophie Cunningham is one of Caitlin Clark's biggest supporters. This comment is not only insulting to Caitlin Clark, it's insulting to Sophie Cunningham. He is twisting what Sophie Cunningham said. She never said that they didn't need Caitlin Clark. In fact, Sophie Cunningham has said that people who don't understand that the league would not be where it is without Caitlin Clark are just effing stupid. That is exactly what she said on her podcast. Sophie Cunningham has also said that Caitlin Clark is working her ass off 8 to 9 hours a day, trying to rehab from her injury so that she can come back. So let me tell you something. All of this commentary about strife on the team and all of that, I have ample video that proves that none of that is true. I have video from their practices, and I have video of them hanging around together outside of basketball. Caitlin Clark loves her teammates, and her teammates love her. All of this chatter about there being strife in the clubhouse, Kelsey Mitchell doesn't like Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark, the black girls won't pass to the white girls. All of this is just pure and utter bullshit. And it's out there to stir up the masses and start trouble. None of it is based in reality or fact. I'm not going to show you the videos tonight and take up any more of your time on this, but I will post the videos of the Indiana Fever players hanging out together, having fun together, and playing together in practice that prove that everything that is being said by these people is nothing but malicious, false bullshit. Now, I don't know about you guys, but in order for me to do my job here making these videos, I have to look at what's going on out there. It's important. I can't isolate myself. And nothing makes me angrier than seeing outright lies and misleading headlines by people who claim to be fans of the WNBA and fans of Caitlin Clark, who then go out and act the exact opposite of that. These people are self-serving talking heads who want multiple hits and are monetized. And the more strife they can create, the more people that go to their site and buy into this stuff, because there is nothing, again, I'll say it, that the American people like more than drama. And they do not, by the way, Americans do not, by and large, vet their information. They just basically figure someone's telling this to them, so they're going to believe it. It must be true. I would like to get to the point where we can focus on basketball. That's what I would really like. And I'll tell you one thing. I am missing Caitlin Clark on the court, big time. So here's what I know. I did see her play on July 15th in Boston. I knew that night that she was not 100%. It was obvious that she wasn't. Okay? Doesn't mean she didn't play well. All right? She scored 9 straight points in the fourth quarter to ice that game. All right? Before she got injured by J.C. Shelton once again. Okay? But I know she wasn't 100% Caitlin Clark. So next year, when she is 100% Caitlin Clark, the first game that is scheduled with the Connecticut Sun, I am buying tickets to that game. I do not care if I have to drive to Connecticut by myself. You know what? I am the person who, in my early 20s, bought a ticket to see Linda Ronstadt at the Los Angeles Forum. And I was living here in Boston at the time. I got on a plane by myself the day before New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, and flew out to California. I saw Linda Ronstadt on Christmas Eve alone in the Forum by myself, and I flew home the same night after the concert was over and got home in time for Christmas dinner. My mother, of course, thought that I was a lunatic, just so you know. So my point is this. I will go to Connecticut by myself to see Caitlin Clark. And you know what? If they move the game up to Boston, all the better. Then I don't have to drive to Connecticut. But I intend to see Caitlin Clark next year. The very first game that they are scheduled with the Connecticut Sun, I am there. End of story. I don't care what it takes. I'm already saving my money right now. So that's what I got for you tonight. I will be back tomorrow. May not be until evening because tomorrow is a early start day for me. It's Saturday. It's my last work day of the week. And I'm in pretty early. But I will be back tomorrow to talk. We got some other stuff to discuss. And it's good stuff. We won't be talking about this junk anymore. I will see you all then. Have a great night.